unpredictable flow of shifting key centers can easily throw uninitiated players off balance, especially when jamming on unfamiliar tunes. For example, the new real book would lead an unsuspecting viewer to assume that this tune is in concert A-flat major throughout and that it contains 21 accidentals. However, All the Things You Are actually changes key 5 times within its 36-bar structure, yet it contains only 3 accidentals. Players unfamiliar with the road signs invariably drive off the cliff while trying to improvise over tunes containing unorthodox internal key changes like these. Helping you navigate through complex tunes is one of the objectives of my course called New Ears Resolution. How do you spot troublesome, unexpected tonal alterations and play over changes easily and fluidly? To answer that question, let's look at a passage I struggled with until I figured out what was really going on inside its logic. It's half of the bridge composed by Dmitri Matheny for Tad Dameron's On a Misty Night. That track is on Dmitri's stunning 2022 CD Cascadia, which quickly joined my Desert Island shortlist as soon as I heard it. The chart as shown here appears to contain 10 accidentals, a bunch of outside chords, and a bewildering level of chromaticism. It would take a lot of detective work to demystify a chart like this. You may well ask, who cares? What's the point? Who needs all this theory? My answer is, while you may not care about theory, there are 2 things about which all players care deeply. Suppose, for example, you walk into a jam session and the vocalist says she wants to sing her favorite song in D flat. So you open up the real book and find the song. Now, as a horn player, you need to be able to do 2 things. You need to be able to play the melody in her key, and you need to be able to solo over the changes. How can you learn to do those 2 things efficiently and effectively? Admittedly, the required detective work might at first seem tedious, but it soon becomes second nature once you understand the steps, and it yields a vast storehouse of confidence and ability. Here are the steps to mastering those 2 skills. Now note the key signature, which is 1 flat, and that tells us that the song is in F major. Now take a look at the chord changes. The first 2 chords, C sharp minor 7 to F sharp 7, they look a lot like a 2-5 progression in B major. So, are we in the key of B major? Well, let's see if the melody affirms or contradicts that guess. Well, yes, indeed, the first 8 notes do fit into a B major scale. In fact, they're part of a lick that Bird often used. Now let's look at the next 3 chords, C minor 7, F7, B flat major 7. They look like a 2-5-1 in B flat major. Once again, we see a group of 12 melody notes which sound as if they fit into the key of B flat major. And again, this is part of a common bebop lick. Since this tune is in F major, 1 flat, it's not far-fetched to think it might call for a bridge in B flat major. That's a 4th up, and that's a standard practice, just like the standard What's New does in its bridge. And bop players love to hit a 2-5 progression a half step above the key. But there is a question. What do we make of that strange B7 in bar 3, with the melody outlining a B7 arpeggio? Could it be a 5-chord in E major, perhaps? Well, it sounds like it. The final bar repeats that bebop lick in B-flat major, solidifying our suspicion that B-flat is the home key of this 4-bar passage. When I first saw this chart, I thought that memorizing the melody and improvising over the changes were going to be really tough. However, once you learn to do this detective work I've just described, you begin to recognize the tonal shifts, and you discover that the chords in this passage are all diatonic. The chord changes are just 2-5, 2-5, 1-5, 1-6. The melody is also largely diatonic, with only 4 accidentals, and 3 of those are all the same degrees of the scale, the sharp 2, or what I call the re pitch. And the 4th is just a chromatic passing tone. On this chart, I've shown the 4 key centers we discovered in our analysis, the chords as Roman numerals related to those keys, and the melody notes, once again, related to the keys, both as syllables and with their numeric values. Each time the key changes, the melodic note pivots from one scale degree to another. Here's the notation. T becomes Do, or 7 becomes 8. That indicates that T in the old key, the 7th degree of the old key, becomes Do, the 1st degree in the new key. That is B flat, also known as A sharp, which was the 7th degree T in the key of B, becomes the 1st degree in the new key of B flat. This notation describing modulation is a really useful and powerful shorthand which you will grow to love once you get used to it. It reminds you what's happening right now in a quick, easy to remember image. T in the old key becomes Do in the new key. Or if you prefer, 7 in the old key becomes 8 in the new key. Rest assured that once you master this process, playing tunes by ear becomes easy, fun, and effortless. You'll comprehend what's going on in the same way the composer understood the tune while writing it. And the proof that you truly know the tune is that you can play it in all 12 keys. If you want to shed this phrase in all 12 keys, click on this link to download a free recording and a chart in all 12 keys. Thanks a lot for watching.